Recording in a bedroom studio doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. However, some people argue that a bedroom studio is a clear sign of an amateur. But what if I told you that a bedroom studio is one of the best places to write and record your music? Let's just dive in. It's so common these days to see both sides of this coin. People that say bedroom producing is no different from anywhere else, and some that believe strongly in that only amateurs and wannabes create music in this way. There's an idea out there that if you're not using fancy, expensive, popular gear and plugins, that you can't possibly be good at what you do. I've been lucky enough to work alongside professional audio elites like Joey Sturgis, Robin Lejean, and many more. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter nearly as much as you think it does. The biggest hurdle overall is practice and experience. For example, without experience, it's uncommon for someone to know what a great vocal take is, or how to get massive low end out of your tracks without breaking the balance. Just on the topic of recording, here are some tips to start getting great recordings in a bedroom studio. Number 1, make use of high energy. Surprisingly, the best performance comes out when the music is being written. That super hyped feeling of loving what you're creating can cause you to perform with a certain magical touch. So always being on your game when capturing your parts can save you from having to go back, re-record something, and not be nearly as stoked as before. This alone can make or break the outcome of your music. Who would have thought? Number 2, your room can be your friend or your foe. Not everyone can afford great, if not just decent room treatment. There are plenty of videos online about how to DIY sound absorption panels and such, but if you can't do that, there is still a way. Believe it or not, organizing and moving furniture around in your room can help make your recording suck less. If you could manage a small budget, get creative and find ways to get rid of annoying reflections from your walls, especially for recording open sources like vocals and acoustic instruments. And never be afraid to experiment. Use closets, living rooms, or whatever, and see what works best, or sucks the least. Obviously, this is a bedroom in an apartment. I just call it my office. In here, I do use sound absorption panels. I made these myself. These are my 2-inch ones. There are 4 of these. And then down here, these are my 4-inch ones. And as you can see, like behind my desk, I've got one there, I've got one there in the back. I think these were about $20 a piece to make, so about $40 worth of wood, $40 worth of material from thrift stores. So in the back of these is hilarious. It's like towels and t-shirts and stuff. And then in these right now, I actually have old blankets that were just in the closet collecting dust. So that's what's in those. I've never really talked about this before, but these are egg cartons. And these don't do anything at all. I just haven't had a chance to get rid of them, but they're spray painted black. They worked in my old place. They don't work here. They're supposed to be for reflections. So here are the other 2 panels, just like you saw on the other side there. And then I've got these bass traps. I honestly don't think these do anything. I don't think they do. I used to have these in the corners back here, but since I don't think they do anything, I just moved them to this because they just need to be out of the way. These panels obviously aren't supposed to be stacked like that in this room. It's actually because of this keyboard here. The keyboard doesn't have a stand to put it on, and there's a Rode case that is also just in this room because there's no storage in my apartment here. But until I can find a place to put those, I can't put any of those panels on the wall. They're too long. Number 3. Maintain proper gain staging forever and always. It's a good habit to always pay attention to your input and output gain. Making a point to constantly check your input gain can save you from having to re-record. If your gain is too high, you can start clipping your signal and make things nearly unusable. Or the opposite can happen, where you don't have enough input gain, and suddenly when you bring up the track, all kinds of noise is mixed in. It's a good practice to get things like guitar and bass as loud as you can without clipping, and then leave headroom for things like vocals and other non-direct input sources. If you're unsure about what level to set things, try leaving -6 to -4 dB of headroom for vocals. And for guitars and basses, just strum the strings loudly and back off the input gain until it's nice and not clipped. Number 4, make templates out of everything. Do your drums sound really good on this track? Great. Save the preset and use it later. Are you super happy with the synth sound under the chorus? Awesome. Make sure you save the preset. If you make templates and presets of your best sounds, eventually you will have a library of great sounding effects and tones. And you can eventually focus more on writing, arranging, and producing rather than tweaking and wasting valuable time. This also has a side effect of your sound evolving. Your templates and presets will definitely change over time, and that's a sign of growth. Number 5, try to get things right at the source. This is the biggest point on this list. Bad recordings cannot become great recordings with tools. If the overall sound of the source is bad, like hearing wireless artifacts from your phone in the guitar DI, or a vocalist singing too close to a microphone, then it'll be extremely difficult to fix later, and sometimes just outright impossible. Once you grasp how to fix things at the source, you'll level up your recordings exponentially. And I promise that's not an exaggeration. The only thing that separates bedroom productions from world-class studio productions, besides great people, is the optimization of the process. Big studios have incredible microphones, preamps, rooms, and processors that easily get an amazing sound without tweaking hardly anything in post. But I'm a firm believer in the idea that you can still make incredible music without those optimizations. And in some cases, you can be the most productive in a place as comfortable as your own home. That's just how I personally feel. For what it's worth, bedroom producing is how a lot of artists and musicians get off the ground. And even more surprising is that some don't need to graduate to expensive gear as they climb thereafter. Your mind and your creativity will trump expensive gear all day long if you start gaining experience, exploring new techniques, and learning everything you can every day. If you're also wanting to produce, mix, and master your own music, I made a video talking about some of my favorite mixing techniques I wish I learned earlier. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next Drastic Truth experience. Is that the end of the video? I guess it's the end.